It is Sunday. I don't know what's going on today. I feel so tired. I don't know. I ate yesterday. We had like our refeed meal and everything. And I think just the elevated glycogen and sugar and, all the calories in my body, I think got me really, really tired. So I'm going to try to like pull it together here. Just an arm day. Nothing too crazy. So no squatting, no deadlifting, no benching. Just curls and triceps. And that's it. For me, my arms are like, I think they're one of my worst body parts. They don't really grow as fast as I feel my chest does, my shoulders, traps. I just think I have to keep training my arms so hard over and over and over again. And like, I get like a millimeter of progress. I got to do 45 minutes of cardio today. I did 45 this morning. I'm going to do another 45 tonight. That's the plan for today and for tomorrow. And I'll check in on Tuesday. Hopefully I can come in with a little bit tighter conditioning as the days go. This is like upper 230s, almost 240 right here. So if I can bring this down, get down to like 230 flat, I'll be in a really good spot. For me, I fill out like a good 5 to 7 pounds. So at my leanest, most depleted, flattest state, I can add a good 5 pounds, let's just say 5, a good 5 pounds of scale weight to that exact physique, and I will not lose any condition. I won't look like I'm watery or gaining any body fat or like I'm softer. I just look bigger and fuller. And that is like the look that I want to be able to kind of oscillate to and from every week. So I want to get lean. Let's say my final weight, let's say, is like 230. Okay, now I'm at 230. I want to basically like just hover around 230 plus or minus a few pounds so I can stay in the condition of 230 but build my insulin sensitivity so that when I bring carbs back in, it just fills me out. It doesn't spill me over. And then you deplete and then you fill and you deplete and you fill. That's going to be my approach. I don't know if it's going to work, but that's what I'm going for. And that's all I got to say about that.
Exercise 1, look for clips because I couldn't find anything to attach on this outer stack thing. Actually, there was this kid in my old gym. I swear he would take clips, D handles, like he would take weird gym equipment home with him from the gym. And then I'd get to the gym someday and he'd have that humongous backpack. It's like a checked luggage suitcase with like, I don't even know why you would have that as a gym bag. It's a humongous backpack that used to be wicked popular, maybe still is. And I would literally see the clips that go on cable machines clipped onto his bag. And I was like, what are you doing with this? He's like, oh, I like them, so I take them. I'm like, dude, why do you have D handles and attachments from the gym? And what are you, like a hiker? Like you need these clips or whatever? Anyways, I thought that was really weird. But this gym is missing a bunch of those, but found some, and I'm doing underhand, easy bar, underhand, not overhand. My hands are actually totally supinated, and I'm supersetting this underhand grip tricep extension with the overhead easy bar tricep extensions. I was training by myself here, so I didn't have anybody spotting me. So I'm getting used to kind of making videos for you guys where I'm appealing to both crowds, the I train with people crowd and I train totally solo crowd. So for me, on an arm day like this where I'm training by myself, the approach that I take is, okay, I don't have someone pushing me past failure every single, set. So I'm going to superset something so that when I go to my, this exercise here, this overhead tricep extension is for me a very meat and potatoes mass builder exercise. I don't recommend doing it like once or twice a year because it's something that you kind of have to keep up with. It's not really common that you see people do overhead stuff unless it's with a dumbbell or an easy bar. And my gym here doesn't have that. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that machine where you sit in it and you press the kind of the metal thing forward and it lets you basically do an overhead extension, but it's a machine and you set yourself up by pressing this foot bar down. Anyways, I've always loved that, but it's really hard to find. I don't see it at a lot of gyms, but my go-to is just the easy bar overhead. And so to make it harder, instead of going heavier with weight and maybe having to figure out where is hitting failure for me with a lot heavier weight, I drop the weight down, but I'm just supersetting between the underhand supinated extension press downs and the overhead extensions. So I did this for the first portion of the triceps part. I've always done kind of like biceps first because I was under this impression from doing hamstrings first always made my knees feel really good for quads. And I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe if I do biceps first, it'll make my elbows feel good for triceps. And it did. Like, I definitely think it's a true fact that a lot of people have found that, biceps before triceps lets your elbow feel pretty solid when you get to the tricep stuff. And doing a little bit of hamstring warm up lets your quads feel good. So I started this whole workout with triceps, even though it's kind of against what I've done in prior years. But just staying really warmed up and healthy on my joints lets me do that first movement without any problems. And I've been doing that movement for years and years and years, and I really really love it. Get stronger on it, improve your rep ranges. The second one here, this is a Lee Priest special. If you guys don't know Lee Priest, highly recommend checking that guy out. And look at this guy behind me, by the way. Oh my God, he's humongous. He was so big. And he was like, yeah, I'm downsized right now. I competed in 2021. I had a neck injury. I was like, dude, you don't look like you've had a single setback. You are absolutely monstrous. I mean, he was so big. But you know what was so funny? He goes, you know what I hate, man, is I hate eating. And I'm over here like, dude, I love eating. I love eating. I could eat from the moment I get up to the moment I go to bed. I could eat and put food in my mouth all day, no problem. And he literally says to me, he goes, dude, I'm never hungry. I don't care about eating. I don't like it. I just do it because I have to. If there was a pill I could take that was a 4,000 calorie just pill and I could just swallow it and never have to eat, I would be so happy. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? It's just weird to hear that from someone that was so big with so much muscle. I mean, he was humongous. He was huge. It's just, for me, it's weird because I don't see big people often ever. I've never been to a gym that's had big bodybuilders or big people in general. And some of the people I see here, guys and girls, man, it's just mind blowing. But for the second exercise, it's really safe. I mean, this is one of the safest, most like really no risk tricep exercises. And like I said, Lee Priest did a lot of these and I really enjoy it. So I bring it in every workout somewhere. I used to do them last and then I started getting really strong at it. I was using the entire stack, putting a plate on top. And I'm like, you know what? Instead of doing this last, why don't I bring them earlier into the workout and then bring in something a little bit more compound looking last? So here for the third exercise, I'm doing these dips. I'm not crazy about machine dips because I think the machines are not just set up super well, but you just got to manipulate your body and sit a certain way, angle a certain way. And with these handles, see right there, I just flipped that handle out. One handle is actually turned in. Both of them in, it's way too narrow, but both of them out, it's like too much chest. So I pull or like rotate one of the handles out, and one is in, one is out. And it's almost like a middle ground between the width between the two handles. And yeah, just finished up with these. I'm not really counting the reps too much. I'm more so using a compound exercise with a triceps kind of focus. So I'm sitting in a certain way, and I know you guys can't feel the muscles working versus not working, but my chest and my shoulders on this, I'm not really getting them involved at all because the range of motion is only about 70 or 80%. Like my triceps aren't fully stretched because for me to fully stretch my tricep and almost bring my hand like up to my shoulder, it's going to involve too much of my shoulder and my chest that I really don't want to train here. So I'm really focusing on like a powerful lockout, but not just the lockout, like so small of a range of motion. More so like the upper 2/3 of this range of motion is what I'm focusing on. And getting like a huge deep stretch for me isn't really too much of a concern here. I covered the deep stretch on the overhead extensions first and that second exercise I just did. Yeah, so I mean, the dips are just weird for me. I've never been crazy about dips, but also I feel like my triceps are my weakest, part of my arm. So maybe I should get into them. I don't know. I might, as I'm watching these videos and even just recording and making these, I'm sort of seeing, my own ways that I can improve how I train. And maybe I'll throw some dips in and see what happens. So after those three movements, about 15 sets total, somewhere between 12 and 15 sets, hitting some basic good old barbell curls. And I don't know, not really much to say about these other than people don't like them. I don't really know why. Maybe the wrist thing, if it hurts your wrist or something. I totally understand that. I totally will say, hey, if it hurts your wrist, please, don't do it. If it's a mobility thing and it's one of those like, you just got to do it a few times and you'll get used to it, then maybe try that. At some point, you got to sort of make a decision. is this going to be, you know, a decent mass builder for you and something you can incorporate without any wrist problems. But the form for me on exercises, I pretty much have like two forms that I use. One is pretty much kind of textbook, and that I use on the really serious movements like benching, squatting, deadlifting, things like that. And then I also have a like controlled momentum, I call it B plus form, where you're not textbook, you're using B plus form. And the whole reason why using not perfect form and using a little bit of momentum, a little bit of swinging, is because you can go heavier. And remember that there's two parts of a rep. There's the concentric, or the, you know, the positive, and then there's the negative, or the eccentric. The eccentric part of the rep right here, as I bring this barbell up to my, you know, chest as best I can, I need momentum to raise it up. But lowering it, I can lower it pretty decently over like maybe a half a second to a second, you know, span, like on a stopwatch. So what I'm doing is I'm basically spotting myself. That's what controlled momentum is you're just spotting yourself. And it's not a bad thing. But I only think it applies in certain situations. And that's something that you have to kind of figure out for yourself. Like, what exercises do you like to use a little bit of controlled momentum, and which ones do you not? And that's just the trial and error thing that I'm so obsessed with, and helping you, you guys and people get away from just listening to some dude on the internet who cited a study. Like, forget the study. Like, go in the gym and try it out. Try to do some cheat curls, which is what I call these, you know, for 4 or 5 sets, maybe even 6 or 7 sets of these with a drop set at the end. Use a little bit of momentum and kind of help yourself get the weight up. And then you lower it fully, or as much as, you know, as close to fully as you can on the way down, you know, using your biceps, because you're stronger on the lowering portion of the rep. And, you know, here I'm doing a drop set just down to the bar. And man, I just love this exercise. It's such a skipped exercise because it seems so basic. And because now in 2025, we're more advanced, we have to use more advanced lifting techniques, when really the muscles haven't changed in the last 50 or 60 years. The muscles still do the same thing as they did 60 years ago. And the stuff that worked 50, 60, 40, 30, 20 years ago, it still works today. It's not like it doesn't work. Oh my God, I forgot about this. Dude, I found this mirror. What the hell is this? This is like, I don't know. It's like this mirror like stretched my body out like horizontally. And then when you put your arm up over your head, like, look at my arm up over my head, how thick it looks. And then the other one looks significantly smaller because the mirror is like, you know, in the x-axis stretching the image out. I just couldn't believe this. I was like, what is this Photoshop mirror? And I walked by it for a half a second and I was like, oh, damn, I look huge. And then that little half a second, like, how criminal is that you have this mirror in your gym that for one split second, I actually think I look crazy. And then I take another step and I go, wait a second, something's wrong with this. Why is my head so wide and my shoulders so wide and my arms so thick? And it's like, oh, the mirror is just kind of warped. So after taking that little clip, this is exercise number 2, going into a preacher curl. Huge thing that people mess up with preacher curls is they lift their arm up off the pad. So I want my armpit and my elbow and my tricep, all 3 pieces of my arm, to be on the pad at the same time. And I don't want to like lean backwards to get the weight up. I want to like open up my bicep and worry about stretching and letting the contraction. Honestly, it'll get weaker and weaker. Like, you're not going to be able to pick your arm all the way up to your face on rep number 10 as easily as you were in rep number 1, which is fine. However, you can open up the bicep and stretch it out identical every single rep all the way through. So just remember, guys, as your sets get harder, you are getting to the reps that build muscle. So if you're on rep number 8, 9, 10, 11, or 4, 5, 6, whatever rep number it is, that you're at a point where I'm going to start building muscle here. I'm going to start challenging the muscle. I'm about to create those micro tears in the muscle. I can't just give up here. I have to stay on it. It's almost like, you know, your girl when she's, you know, she's telling you she's close. Like, don't get off the muscle. Just stay on it. Don't bring in other muscle groups. Don't change things up. Just stay right where you are and finish finish the job. Yeah, I did some posing here real quick. I thought it looked pretty decent. It's weird because this video is actually from 2 weeks ago, and I'm recording a voiceover on, what's today? Today is January 26th, and this video is literally 2 Sundays ago. So I'm catching up to all my videos. I didn't realize how long it takes to edit, so I'm trying to spend as much time as I can to catch up to the current day to post videos that are actually roughly on the day that I, worked out. But I took some posing clips there. I thought it looked okay. But I can see myself now, looking back 2 weeks ago, like, oh, wow, I can see where I'm leaner now. Whereas this time that's been going on from 2 weeks ago till now, it's really hard to notice it. So just remember to take your progress pictures, your progress videos, whatever. If you want to hire somebody or hire me or whatever, you can always get a second set of eyes to use as a tool for yourself to say, hey, you've improved in these areas. Look at how your low back, love handle area is smaller here. Look at how the feathers on your tricep are more pronounced here. Look at how your legs are more defined here. And somebody else will be able to point out those differences to you because you look at yourself every day over and over and over again in multiple mirrors before you get in the shower, at the gym. You are examining your body. At least I am. I'm examining every freaking second and being so critical and hard on myself. And I don't notice the micro progresses that I make and those little progressions that happen on a daily basis. But looking at a video here from 2 weeks ago versus today, I'm like, oh, wow, I've actually definitely gotten leaner. Like I've gotten much leaner from then till now, but I haven't really noticed it until I looked at this. So the progress pictures and stuff, even though you're looking at them and you're not happy with them, and if you do send your photos off and your check-ins off to someone who's running your nutrition or whatever, you're never going to be pumped and stoked about sending progress photos to somebody until you're like finally almost at like your final form. So don't worry about being upset with yourself or being, feeling like, you're very critical of yourself, because I'm wicked critical of myself. I'm watching this here and I'm like, dude, my triceps suck. My forearms are skinny. Like my lats aren't hanging super, super low. And I just have constant, like, oh, I'm still chunky. I'm still fat. My veins aren't really out. That's all I do when I watch myself work out and I look at myself in the mirror. So it's very it's just like a nice experience to actually see some progress happen when you aren't really looking for it, and you all of a sudden catch yourself, oh wow, I have made a difference between there and here. So this is just a pretty typical basic arm day. 3 things for tris, 3 for bis. Finished up here with some alternating dumbbell curls, and I love going into hammer curls. You get a little bit more leverage to, kind of like haul the weight up. I know the Instagram guys, they love saying that hammer curls don't work the outside of your bicep, but again, what do I always say? Don't worry about their studies. Go in the gym. Do 10 sets of hammer curls to failure and tell me tomorrow how your biceps feel. If they're sore, there's your answer. If they're not, there's your answer. But I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Like I said, editing takes a lot longer than I thought it did. So I'm trying to get back to the current day, and I'll see you on the next session, which is legs.